Boom. What is up, familia? We are here with episode 5 of X-Men 97, Weapon X, Lies and DVDs. And joining me, as always, is Planet X-Men himself, Chris. What's up,
How's it
man?
going? You good?
I'm good, man. I woke up this morning and I had my bagel. And the second this episode ended, I literally went on my DMs to see if you were awake because I had been dying to talk about this with you all day. You don't understand. And like my husband Jeff was like, "When are you recording with Chris?" I'm like, "This afternoon," because I have literally been so excited to talk about this with you.
I was working. The schedule does not time well for Europe.
Yeah, man. I listen, it's if I had to go into the office, I don't know what I'd do. Literally watching these shows like at the first thing in the morning, it's oh, man, it's become like my habit.
If we were in Australia, it would be great because it airs maybe like 5 p.m. there. So New Zealand, Australia, you've got it good. I think I've said that before.
Yeah,
It's a
man. If
win
I
for you
was,
guys.
yeah, shout out to Rod over in New Zealand and some of the other Power of X-Men familia. We have folks who work at uncannyxmen.net who are in New Zealand. And man, I hope they're ordering pizza and having a cherry Coke and watching these episodes because what did you think of this episode in particular?
I did love this episode. I know some people are going to have feelings on it. There's no X-Men, there's just two X-Men in it, really, but I did love it. I think it was good to bring some of these characters back who we've not seen in a while and some for the first time ever, and to also have some Wolverine fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those reasons that you just said, I did love it. I do have issues with like the overall pacing of this episode. This episode felt very much like a season one episode in terms of its pacings. And I do have a source who told me that this is one of the first episodes that was pitched for season two. So this episode was in development years ago and very early on in the production process.
Season, you felt it was season one X-Men 97 or X-Men original?
Oh, X-Men 97 season one in terms of like
Ah,
the pacing. This felt very fast pacing.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, this needed to be done. First of all, yeah, there was Wolverine's adamantium needed to sort out, which we'll get onto in a bit. So they obviously had this scripted from Fatal Attract, the scene last year when Magneto took out Wolverine's. It had to be resolved at some point, so that's understandable.
Do you think it
Um,
got resolved? I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you think it got resolved too quickly?
I didn't really understand it. Maybe
The
was the second Wolverine a clone? What happened there? Just explain
second,
the episode for people. So we have the Team X, Weapon X. This episode combines Weapon X with the Brood Saga, very gently, very softly. And we've also got a Wolverine appearance, an Omega Red appearance, sorry. So you've got a couple of different plots combining into one episode. And also is the plot of Wolverine regaining his adamantium, which is completely different from the comics. This didn't happen in the comics. So you've got maybe three or four smashed together in one. So yeah, tell us what happened with the adamantium.
so the way I took it was that Wolverine was hijacked by the Brood, and in order
Mhm.
to purge the Brood, they needed to get his adamantium back in there, which was Wolverine's plan all along. So they trick him into getting into the canister, and he gets
Mhm.
his adamantium back, and the Brood DNA is purged, and somehow the adamantium really kills the Brood, and they're able to fly off into the sunset at the end of the episode. And that's it. And the entire facilities explode. So the Brood are all dead. That's it. Everything's
Yeah,
resolved nicely.
it was. And the ending was the only thing I didn't like about this episode, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. So, okay, shall we go back to the start then? The team.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me
Were you
pull
excited
up
for this
here.
team?
I
Yeah.
was so excited for this team. Hang on, let me pull them up here so you can see them. We have, so I didn't know that Garrison Kane was going to be here. I love Kane. And then we
I
have
mean,
Maverick.
barely.
Well, we're we're going to pull on that thread. This is why I needed to talk to you, Chris, because they pulled basically an X-Force in Deadpool 2 where they
Mhm.
introduce this team with all these characters and then they kill them instantly. So Kane is among those casualties right at the beginning. Then we have
Mhm.
Maverick, then we have Sabretooth, then we have Lady Deathstrike, we have Wolverine, and we have Morph. I love this
Yeah.
team with a set from the open. Well, it wasn't even the opening shot because on the Disney Plus page, you have like a character promo art with all of them on there. And I loved it. I went crazy the second I saw it.
Yeah. This Sabretooth return was long overdue. We saw him briefly in the first season as Morph in a
Hmm.
training month, remember? Um, it's good to have him back. I mean, Sabretooth, you can't really bring Sabretooth back. This is tough. How to say this? Sabretooth has done so many bad things in the comics that can't translate to the screen, right?
Hmm.
But you want him and Logan to still have that rivalry, like in the original show. He didn't make too many appearances, did he? Correct me if
No,
I'm wrong.
no, just a
But he was
handful.
still kind of a great character, yeah. We do not want him going down the movie route. No, 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 no. That was
No.
where he was one of Magneto's silent henchmen. That was awful. That needed rebooting. This was perfect. They're not friends, Wolverine and Sabretooth here, but they're kind of working together for a larger cause. So it works. And Sabretooth got, a couple of licks in. He gets away. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do Sabretooth. Bring him back just for this one episode where it makes sense. He doesn't have to stalk the X-Men or Logan or do, any birthday surprises. This is good. I really liked Sabretooth here.
I agree. I do like Sabretooth here. My thing is, and perhaps a better post-credit scene would have been seeing why all of them come together. I understand they're all victims of the Weapon X program. They all have an
Mhm.
emotional stake in all of this. However, why are they all on this little helicopter agreeing to get Wolverine's adamantium back? Or I think secretly that was Wolverine's motive, but why are they all in agreement to come here and they're all playing nice? Like I thought Deathstrike would be trying to murder Logan there, and same with Sabretooth. And obviously Kane and Maverick are welcome additions to the team, but I needed a little bit more explanation as to why all of them could just play so nice.
We have to
Does
make
that
it
make
up in our
sense?
heads. We can say that maybe Maverick pulled them all together. He's a
Yeah.
nice guy, but yeah, this
was
lady did.
was a nice guy. Was a nice
Oh,
guy.
this Lady Deathstrike is not the same one as the comics. In the comics, her father is the creator of adamantium. I want to say I can't remember. Her father
Yep.
is, and he died, and she took revenge on Logan via the what are they called? Donald Pierce, the
Yeah.
Reavers.
She became a reaver.
This not is not in the show. This is completely not in the show. It's a great plot, but it's too complicated to get into in the show. She does have an appearance in the first 90s series, though, with an alien, I want to say. There was an alien
Yep.
underground. Yeah.
Yep, it was a part
That
one
was,
and part two, the prelude to the
yes,
Phoenix Saga. What was it called? Oh
that's
man,
right.
I'm forgetting the name. Out of Sight. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. But yeah, it was one of the it was the first episode that they aired like in prime time, and it was a part one
Hmm.
and part two, and she was the main villain. Well, one of the main
Yeah.
villains for it.
Yeah. Again, I'm not too bothered by her characterization here. I just like seeing her. And I think she was great. Her banter with Morph was great as well, which we'll get into Morph a bit later. The real one I want to talk about, though, is Maverick.
Yeah,
Um, the German accurate voice, brilliant.
brilliant. Agreed.
They could have just given him a Canadian or American accent. No, they were comic accurate. Maverick is German in the comics. Um, he was a little bit of a wuss towards the end of the episode. Maverick is
Agreed.
not like that. But this was. Am I right in saying this is his first appearance on the show?
No, he's appeared before. He was in the
Has he?
previous like Team X when they were talking about when they went to the Weapon X facility
Okay, good.
previously. So he's already been on the show. So has Kane. Kane was a background non-speaking cameo in the
Yeah.
show. So, you know,
Yes. I
they're
remember.
back here. That's great. I agree with you. I kind of didn't like how they treated Maverick here because he started
Hmm.
off so cool and
Hmm.
then he has like this cowardice moment, and then Wolverine, possessed by the Brood, murders him. And I thought the last shot of the episode where they showed the facility burning, I thought they were going to show him getting up or something like that. That he had somehow survived, and
Like
nope,
the
he's dead.
Terminator.
Okay, but this is like what really pisses me off. All right, so Kane, when they're flying towards the Weapon X facility, birds, crows that are infected with the Brood hit the plane, helicopter, you know what I mean, and it crashes. Kane dies. Um, Maverick dies. They're getting too many characters are dying on the show. Like Magneto
Hmm.
just died. Like all of Genosha's gone. Dazzler, Sebastian Shaw, Maddie, they're all dead. Like, stop killing the characters, please.
If only there was a plot that they could bring loads of these characters back. Wow, what could that be? um, Maverick, yeah, I was sad he died. I mean, he's not going to be a main in the show. It was nice to see him in this episode. It was an okay death. He kind of went out like a bitch, but he was good in the first half for sure. He's not really someone that you would consider an X character, in the comics,
Hmm.
but he actually is. He's a major X character. He doesn't really appear anywhere else. He had his own series, but it was under the X books. So Maverick, we like. I like it when he appears in the comics. I like him here.
I like him here. I think all the characters have great positioning here, and it's a fun team to balance off of. So
Hmm.
the helicopter crashes. Oh man, there's Kane. There's dead Kane. Man, oh, it just upsets me so much. So they crash and they find out that there's something up with the birds there. They're infected with some green goo. And
Mm,
we see Maverick and Deathstrike joining Morph. And then soon after, Wolverine and Sabretooth join. And we get
yeah.
the hint that it looks like it's something otherworldly
Hmm.
happening.
This was slightly in the trailer, so we kind of knew the Brood were coming. Um, was it a good idea to combine Weapon X with the Brood? I think yeah.
I agree. I think this worked out really well. I don't this felt like the way they played this was kind of like, and I'm not a big fan of Aliens. I just have never really watched the show, or excuse me, the movie.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it felt Aliens coded, like kind of make a horror movie going into like the Weapon X facility and stuff like that. I think they surprisingly balanced really well. I just don't like how neatly everything was resolved in the end. What do you think?
It does. It kind of leaves them open to come back. They do have more stories in the comics,
Mhm.
and it's not just a Wolverine plot. I really wanted Storm in this episode a little bit
Oh yeah.
because she has ties to Omega Red and the Brood in their first story. Yeah, it does open the door for them to come back. So I hope they do. This was a nice introduction. They could be a really large season villain one day. You
Now,
know,
this was the first time they really wanted to put them in the series because they had appeared in something else in later seasons with Rogue when Cody comes back. But they couldn't,
yes.
I don't know why they couldn't call them the Brood. I don't know why. They weren't called the
Mm,
Brood, but they were Brood coded.
I remember. Yeah, maybe they didn't want to get into the whole like hive mind brood thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, X fans love the brood. The Claremont issues are people's favorites. They really, really love them. So it was a nice nod. They weren't in it too much that we opened up the whole Pandora's box and all their secrets. I think they could come back, and I would like to see them back. Um, they're voiceless. They're pretty an easy villain to have come back. They're just kind of monstery. Uh, they can infect people They've made X-Men pregnant before, spoilers. So there are lots of possibilities. I
You
really
just
liked
sent
how they
all the
combined.
Kitty Pride fans to our DMs
Oops.
now. All the Kitty Pride fans are going to come after us now.
And one of my favorite plots was in Krakoa when Nightmare and the Brood were teaming up.
That's a very
Do
good
you remember
point.
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't
yeah,
spoil
yeah.
too much, but another pregnancy there that happened. Uh, there's loads of ways that the Brood could go. This is, yeah, whoever had the idea to combine the Brood with Weapon X, well done. This is a
Yeah,
good choice.
I think this episode is still written by former showrunner Bo DeMayo. And yeah,
Oh.
I think planting the seeds here for a larger brood invasion, larger brood story, having them in the universe, very well done. We see
Mhm.
how they were how they operate. They obviously have they find the found footage. It's really horror driven. They're a hive mind. They infect a host, and we find out throughout the episode that they actually don't go after perfect hosts. They want the best hosts, and that's why everyone else
Mhm.
is like kind of like a burn through until they
Mhm.
get to Wolverine, which I think the reason to pull on the thread of what you were talking about, I think the reason why they wanted to combine Weapon X and the Brood is they wanted to have Brood Wolverine, right? That Mark Silvestri cover,
Mhm.
Uncanny X-Men, something. I'm forgetting what it was. I think it's 233 or 234, but they obviously really wanted to homage that.
That was
And
great.
they
Yeah,
did.
that was a
And they
great
did.
draw. Yeah.
And they
I
did. And they got
mean,
it.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it's fitting that the Brood way of the perfect host is in the same season as Apocalypse, who is survival of the fittest. He doesn't tolerate
Yes.
weaker. That kind of, I don't know if that was intentional at all. Maybe but it was, if you look at it like that, it was a good mirror to what else is happening in the season, maybe.
No, I agree with you. I didn't even think about it until this moment. You're absolutely right. That does service a larger story plot of like survival of
Mhm.
the fittest. That's something that we saw with El Salvador. That's something we see in the future. I wonder if future apocalypse, and I don't have any tea on this. This is just me speculating. I wonder if future apocalypse has a hand in bringing the Brood in here because they're from outer space, and Apocalypse, obviously with celestial technology, was in outer space. That's how he hooked up with Cortez initially in the
Mm.
original animated series. So who knows?
Could be, yeah. I really hope they return.
So they
So,
go over
yeah,
the Weapon X facility, and we have a couple of Easter eggs. They come
yep.
across um a sort of like a drawer with a lot of DVDs, and we have some familiar names and a lot of like interesting like Easter eggs here. Some of them, I mean, I know most of them, but some of like Ant, I don't know what Ant is.
I think you've been even too generous with DVD. This
They're
is
just
just
like
CD.
they're just
This
like
is just
burnt down.
90s compact disc. Yeah. I have no idea what Ant is either. We have Phantom X, we have Silver Fox there, we have the Winter Soldier, Garrison Kane, Sabretooth. There is a lot of flashbacks. Blink and you'll miss it. Yeah, they're all on CD-ROM.
Yeah, Garrison Kane, obviously, Sabretooth. Is that Mutant Zero? Mutant Zero was
Mm.
originally Typhoid Mary in the comics. And the only reason why I remember that is because she had fiery effects and her long red hair. And this was the time when Jean was dead. And everyone thought that that was Jean for like a split second.
And right,
I'm forgetting
yeah.
where it was at, but Mutant Zero, that was definitely Typhoid Mary in the comics. I don't
Was
remember if
that the
she's
Avengers?
yes, it was in the you're absolutely
Mm.
right. It was during the Avengers, and everyone thought it was Jean because she was lighting up with fire.
Okay, I'm thinking of Agent Zero. Maybe it doesn't. For me, I thought it said Agent Zero. Mutant wouldn't fit there. And Agent Zero, do you remember him? He was in the Weapon X.
Oh, Agent Zero, you're right.
He was a character called David North. He had like a balaclava.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
right. Oh,
yeah.
you're so
That was
right. You're so right. I'm
that
like,
was
it's
a
Mutant
series with
Zero.
that was a series with Marrow and
Yeah.
Sauron. Yeah. So we've got most of them. We can pick apart and Google the rest.
Yeah.
Cyborg, no idea. Ant, yeah.
Yeah. Cyborg, I think just earnestly cyber or cyborg. I don't see cyborg. Um, I think or oh yeah, here we go. It goes up a little bit more. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's all there. Let's see where they go, but you should freeze that, dissect all of
Mhm.
that. There's a lot of good things there. And Lady Deathstrike's like, I'm not touching this. She's here like, I like laser discs.
Did you see? I just want to talk about another one of the names,
Yeah.
Kamura,
Yeah. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right at
Kimura.
the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she is Laura's arch nemesis. She is the saber tooth of X23, Laura Kinney.
Hmm.
Do you remember? So that is very interesting. I'm not commenting on any speculation. Maybe it's just an Easter egg, but it could mean that Laura Kinney is in this universe somewhere.
I was expecting, okay, there were two things I was expecting with this. I was expecting to see an X-23 reference, and the Cuckoos we know are part of the Weapon Plus program. I think they're
Yeah.
Weapon 13. It was confirmed in Here Comes Tomorrow, and obviously
Mhm.
Phoenix War Song. I was expecting those two there. But like it's fine.
It does say Weapon 13 in the discs, but yeah,
Oh,
maybe
you're right, right there.
maybe they couldn't like write Stepford Cuckoos, or they didn't want to give them like a name, an official
Yeah.
name. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they've not decided. This is really interesting because it says all these people are in the universe.
It's nice that the one thing that I'm going to give X-Men 97 that I think they've done really well is that they've made you feel like the universe is very big. It feels bigger than
Mhm.
the original series.
Yeah, it's not just a universe up until 1997.
Yeah.
There's things in the comics that happened after then that are being referenced here, which is the most interesting thing. So, one day we could get Lorna's Wedding or Avengers versus X-Men, two of the biggest plots in that came after 1997. So there are little. They've already done genocide on Genosha. They haven't done Cassandra Nova, but Morrison's plots are in here. Phantom X's name was there. The Cuckoos were referenced. Yeah, we're getting more than just up to 1997.
I listen, if they do Polaris's wedding and Nurse Annie, can't we're doing like a live like stream on that because that would be amazing. When she like loses her mind and puts on Magneto's helmet or like creates Magneto's helmet and goes to kill Nurse Annie. Like poor Nurse Annie. Nurse Annie's like, I just took a job here.
Right, okay, yeah. We'll get to Polaris. I'm sure we'll talk in loads about Polaris later when she comes in. Okay, let's continue. You're about to highlight somebody that I didn't expect to see on the show ever.
Same.
He's
Same. I
here.
can't.
He
I
arrived
can't
with this
believe it.
episode. He made his big debut this episode. The person we're talking about is Maggot.
Oh, I'm so excited to see him. And like
He didn't
officially
get a
see him.
speaking role. Yeah, he doesn't get a speaking role.
Yeah.
Was he one of the background mutants on Genosha in season one?
I don't know if he was. I think he was on. I have to look back on it. He had like it was like on a newspaper cover, I believe. Let me Google it like really
Okay.
quickly. But it was like it wasn't a big thing. And it
Mhm.
was one of those things where it's like it could be Maggot, but it could be someone dressed up as Maggot. You know what I mean? Like anyone's
Yeah.
guess on that. So it was a
Well,
very quick one. This is without a doubt like Maggot.
this is a reference to the Weapon X program as well, because Maggot originally died. He was put in the gas chamber in the Weapon X series. Remember the one that came out around about like Grant Morrison
Hmm.
with Marrow and Sauron and Wildchild? He was killed in that series, and then he was brought back in Necrosha. So it kind of makes sense for Maggot to be in this episode as a callback. He did get put in the Weapon X death camps.
Yeah, the Neverland facilities, right? Let me just
Neverland
yeah. Yeah.
facilities.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. So yeah, I'm glad he's there. he's being experimented on with the brood. I mean, he
Hmm.
looks like he's dead at the end of this. Like it does not like there's fire. Like they burned poor Maggot down.
Hmm.
Like
Again, another dead mutant.
yeah, you're right. You're man, I didn't even think about it like that in terms of my anger. But yeah, like now in one episode, Maverick, Maggot, and Kane are dead. Like
Hmm.
absolutely not cool. Oh, that infuriates me.
Now, here we go with Morph. Okay, let's discuss Morph.
All right, let's break it down. Give your feels.
Morph is the point of view character of this episode, and that was great to me. We have obviously seen Morph last season, which was a bit of a shock to most fans. I wouldn't say that Morph was expected to be in the new show. They didn't have to do it. Their story was kind of over in the original 90s show, if you remember. They could have just
Mm-hmm.
left the team with after the whole Mr. Sinister thing. No, Morph came back, and Morph is a valid member of this team now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're as valid as Storm and Rogue and Cyclops. They're here to stay. So this was Morph's kind of first point of view episode, would you say?
I couldn't agree more. I think point of view and really like stepping up as like the star of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't really had a Morph plot. Is that fair? Since Mr. Sinister,
Yep, very
there
fair.
has, yeah, there wasn't really much in the first season. Amazing cameos.
And that's what kind
This
of like
was,
really annoyed me with this. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's what kind of annoyed me here. It's like I like some of those cameos we got, but at a certain
mhm.
point, I'm like, we've gotten enough. Like, focus on the character. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, give me cameos all day. I don't mind the cameos, but Morph needs a plot as well. Yeah, there is a Wolverine Morph underlying story going on.
Hmm.
What's missing from the show from the comics is Wolverine's like sidekick uh plot. I want to say,
Yeah.
in the comics, Wolverine always has a sidekick. He had Kitty Pryde, and then he had Jubilee. He had Laura. He's kind of a mentor to people. Um, who's like Wolverine's bestie in the comics? I'm trying to think. Like Nightcrawler, let's say.
Yeah.
And Nightcrawler and
Nightcrawler's
Wolverine
fair.
do have some great scenes in this show. But, there's an element of Wolverine Morph in this show that is like best buds, best mates, which I personally love.
I love that too. I think that one of the things they've been sort of in the undercurrent, and this was something that was, at the forefront last season, is that Morph might have feelings for Wolverine that are more than just best buds. There's some kind of romantic undertone happening
Mm-hmm.
there. And that's something that's exclusive to 97. That's certainly, I mean, Morph is not, with the exception of Exiles, is not a changeling, is not a prominent character. And I think this episode did a great job in sort of closing out that thread because as we see Wolverine in his brood state goes to attack Morph is trying as Morph is trying to reason with Wolverine, but then Wolverine stabs Morph. And then Morph turns into Jean, and that is when Wolverine pulls back and says Jeannie or Jean, whatever he says. And I think that's a key moment for Morph because that's where Morph realizes that Wolverine will never have the feelings for Morph
Mm-hmm.
in the way that Morph cares about Jean, or excuse me, Wolverine cares about Jean. So,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great development for the character of Morph. Like, loves that like unrequited love never really truly like always pans out. I want to see Morph now get their own plots. Like send Morph to Exiles, give Morph an Exiles team, give whatever Morph needs to do. I really like that idea. I think that the ending of this episode is coupled with Morph's relationship with Lady Deathstrike about like, the shapeshifter in the mythology that was following the samurai. It never ends well for the shapeshifter. So
Mm-hmm. Morph is a really interesting character in the show because, as you say, he doesn't have any plots. They don't have any plots in the comics to adapt. This is not the same character as the comics. They are X-Men 97 only. There was never this whole Mr. Sinister thing, brainwashed, kidnapped, blah, blah, blah. So you can technically use Morph as other characters' plots from the comics, right? You can use as a Kitty Pryde alternative to Wolverine's sidekick. You can use them as a Iceman alternative. Iceman came out in the comics. Morph sexuality has never really been discussed anywhere. So that's a plot that you can adapt to Morph. I must say, it must be Morph's powers are one that makes sense with sexuality because Morph can morph into men and women, just like Mystique can. So, Mystique is famous for having a wife and a girlfriend. It makes sense that Morph may not be 100% heterosexual.
Yeah, and I like that in the context of exactly how you just said. Like, I think a shapeshifter, their identity, their sexuality, everything is very fluid. I think that's an intelligent way of going about it for the character. So I agree with you. I like how they've beefed up Morph. And another plot point that doesn't really get addressed, but we've spoken about it on this podcast before with Scott Lobdell, which is Morph has that whited out head because the idea is that Morph is this eraser that has been erased so much, has endured so much trauma that there's nothing left. And I love, in the context of 97, that makes perfect sense given their history with Sinister.
Plus, their old head was kind of baggy under the eyes. There was something a little scary about old Morph.
Old Morph, it looks like me when I wake up after drinking too much. I always feel like more like that's definitely the
when
trauma.
Morph appeared on screen, it was kind of like, oh, Morph, you've been awake all night. Morph was kind of plain looking. Iceman is kind of plain looking in the comics. If you 10 artists could draw Bobby Drake in his non-ice form all differently, couldn't they? And you could say, like, who's that? Who's that character? So why not make more of an identity in this show rather than just like a normal haircut, a boring haircut, and bags under the eyes? That cannot be your look. And again, kind of comic accurate because Morph in the Age of Apocalypse looks like this.
Yeah. And it's more the comedian on the team, which, in season 1, that first episode, Morph really was the comedic relief, but then quickly became a villain. I think having them on the team as like the comedic relief, you said it perfectly, fulfills that Bobby role as well as respecting a history of the comics. So I think Morph is great. This is the first time that we really get a spotlight for them that isn't more like B plot. The cameos, we got Silver Samurai, we got Puck into Deadpool. I'm surprised that Deadpool has not made an actual cameo in this show.
And you also got, who was I thinking of there? Who did he morph into?
Right there. Vindicator.
Vindicator or Guardian? I can never.
Guardian. Sorry, I said Vindicator.
Yeah, and Jean, of course, and Cyclops, which we'll see a bit later.
Oh, and Spider-Man. Spider-Man,
that was a good one. I texted my spider friend and told him straight away there was a big spider appearance. The Wolverine morph thing is interesting. A lot of people will not like it. Wolverine is a very hetero guy, people on this show are allowed romances outside of Rogue and Cyclops.
Yeah.
They have hogged the romance limelight for however many years. The other X-Men kind of get one episode romances, maybe, Beast, Storm. Even Wolverine himself has never really had a romance on the show, really. So it might be worth exploring a one-sided relationship that's not the norm.
I am so fine with this. I thought it was good last time. It was my fear. It's so funny you said that because I went to the premiere for the first season And they showed us that obviously that scene of Wolverine in the shower and Morph over there. And I was like, oh, I'm worried people are just going to get upset about this. I will tell you, I don't know. I mean, you see the same DMs that come in or same comments. I People have seemed to be okay with it. I don't think people have been too upset about it. Not certainly at the level I thought it was going to be at, but I like it. I mean, you just again, I feel like you nailed it perfectly, which is other characters can have romantic interests here and they can last a couple episodes, and this was a smart way of doing it.
How upset would people be if they let Wolverine embrace it?
But here's the thing, I think Wolverine, I mean, as we saw on Krakoa, Wolverine, mainstream Wolverine has a very fluid sexuality. And of course, in
No comment.
Extreme X-Men Volume 2, right, we have an alternate world Wolverine, James Howlett. I'm forgetting the character's
It's
specific name,
true, yeah.
but he was hooking up with Hercules. So
That's
listen,
so wild. That is
I
so wild.
this is a little crass. It is a little bit more crass than we get on this podcast, but I will say that like so I do have a certain type of straight male friends who they don't care what they're hooking up with. Like they're straight, but they'll hook up with anyone, because they're just, big old horn balls. And again, I'm sorry to be so crass, but that's how I get Wolverines. That's the persona I get from Wolverines. Like, I've had a couple beers here. I'll hook up with whoever's by me. That's sort of the impression I've always gotten. But I do agree with you that I think mainstream audiences really do see Wolverine as kind of like a man's man, just very straight.
And well, Morph can morph into Jean.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would work for Wolverine's emotional trauma. There, can you imagine if Morph, this plot was assigned to Morph and Gambit? I think that would be hilarious.
But you see, Gambit for me is one of those characters that like you can get away with Gambit being bisexual, and I think that was the original intent with his like fourth volume book, the Clayman series, that they were going to out him as bring him out
Oh,
as
Dakin?
bisexual.
No.
No, not Dakin.
Oh,
Gambit.
no, I meant Gambit and Dakin.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Morph. Oh yeah, Dakin definitely is omnisexual or whatever the appropriate term would be for
Hmm.
that character. That character just sleeps with anyone. That character slept with Aurora in X Factor. I'm sorry, like he's got no standards.
Oh,
I know that is
ouch.
shade to Aurora. I'm sorry.
Are they not still a thing
I don't
in the
know. That's a good
comics?
question. I don't think so. I don't
I
think they're a
think they
thing
are.
anymore. Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
The nice big reveal here that I had absolutely no idea that was going to happen, and I think most of us are really happy about, is Omega Red.
Yes, Omega Red. I love Omega Red. Um, his arch nemesis was not here. No, not Colossus. Storm. Storm beat his ass in the first
Yes.
90s show by frosting. Do you remember Dark Star?
Yeah. Yes.
um, in Russia, Omega Red was defeated. It was great to see him. I really love him. I just love seeing. I don't know how to say this without sounding. I just love kind of seeing European mutants. Obviously, I'm Scottish, so it's. I love when it goes to like Russia and we see the is it the Red Guard? No, like Dark Star and all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Russian mutants because Russia is as big as the US. It has a huge population. Why wouldn't there be so many Russian mutants and Chinese mutants and Indian mutants? Like there's. I love seeing people like Omega Red,
I,
and
I
he
I
was
couldn't
a
agree with you more.
yeah, he was a badass in this episode. He was a lot more powerful with his what do you call them trendles?
I call them, I would just call them tentacles, but like, yeah, I mean, like really,
Tentacles.
like truly, like just like really scary. Again, it was like horror movie coded. You have the Brood, you have Omega Red. They're all out in the shadows trying to kill people. Obviously, Omega Red we saw last season when Magneto took out, the power across the globe. So we knew Omega Red was a incoming threat. I loved it. Again, the only thing I would say is that it felt a little too convenient. Like they're solving the situation with the Brood and Wolverine's adamantium, and then at the end, Omega Red comes in, and then like a pillar falls on him, and then they fly off, and then the entire facility explodes, and everything's wrapped up nicely for the X-Men. No one has to worry about them for right now. So I don't know. I think some of the themes I liked, and I think Omega Red was really cool, but that's like towards the end is where it lost me.
Mm. Seeing Omega Red does open the door for more Russian mutants to come in. Obviously, he was in Colossus's episode.
Yeah.
Magic could come in with Omega Red. I think there's potential for him to come back. I would love that.
I'm 100. I don't think he's dead. I think Maverick is dead. I think Kane is dead. I think Maverick, excuse me, Maggot, Maverick, and Kane are all dead. But who's not dead is Omega Red. Omega Red for sure survived the explosion on facilities. So
Omega Red forever.
So that's where the episode ends. The episode kind of ends with Morph and Wolverine having a moment. And, Morph being like, oh, I thought, Logan, you're more than an animal. And Logan's like, maybe that's just what I am. And Morph's like, that's sad. And that's it.
Really weird ending.
Yeah, just kind of like, I don't know. I think there was a lot that was convenient with the plot here in this episode. I like the team. It's not a dynamic issue. Obviously, I'm pissed off about Kane and Maverick, and Maggot as well. But I wanted to like it more than I did. How about that?
Yeah, they explored a little more Deathstrike dynamic. Wolverine Sabretooth dynamic didn't really get touched on too much, even though it was great seeing Sabretooth. I'm going to rewatch this one because it has a lot of great appearances that we don't normally see on the show. I'm going to rewatch this one this week. I haven't rewatched the others in full. I've watched like clips again. This one I kind of feel like I do want to watch again because I had a bit more, I don't know, it did have a bit more bite just because it was a one-off episode. Yeah, I just really want to get back into this one.
How would you rank it?
This is hard because all the others are one overarching plot, and this is like a one-off single episode, so it's really hard. It's not top, it's not bottom. Let's just say that. This is going to be one in a rewatch that I think is going to be better. Does that make sense? I think there's maybe more to this episode.
That's fair. That I will tell
later
you.
In the season. Yeah, for Morph and Wolverine. Yeah.
This reminded me very much of a 90s movie. Again, going back to Aliens, I know that's 80s, but it reminds me of that kind of genre. Like, even the opening shot with Morph and the aviators, very action driven. I like it for those reasons quite a bit. And I agree with you. I think there's probably a little bit more payoff, hopefully, in the future for this.
What I did find interesting was the choice to have this after a 4-part apocalypse.
Yeah. Well,
why?
They don't even talk about Apocalypse. They don't even talk about Magneto's death. And by the way, there's a preview that came out last week with Psylocke versus Boneclaw Wolverine, and that's not even here.
True. I didn't really expect it in this week's episode, though. Did you?
Well, because he has bone claws in it. He's
sure?
bone claws. Hang on, I'm going to look at it one more time. I trust your memory.
Mine. I was going to say, the Apocalypse plot is just completely dropped here. There's no X-Men appear in it.
Oh, you know what? You're right. He does not. They don't show the bone claws, so it's very much probably Wolverine. It's probably next week's episode. You're right.
Could be, yeah. There's no kind of link to the rest of the episodes, which makes me want to watch it again. That's why I kind of want to watch it again, because it's a one-off. And no other X-Men appear. Nothing is discussed about the previous episodes. Where do we go from here? What's the time frame? Are all the X-Men back together? It's going to be interesting the next episode. Why have this one here? There was a reason for it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think there's the next episode we have to check in with everyone kind of back together. And I believe next one is the Danger episode. Is it Danger.exe? I believe,
Okay,
is the
good.
next one.
Okay.
So, so we know that's we know we're gonna go back to the school now. We're gonna touch base. Yeah, Danger XC, which is a file reference. It's gonna be the Danger episode, so we'll be able to check in with the present X-Men. Everyone should be back together again at this point.
Okay. I'm excited for that. I'm really excited because we've seen Danger in the trailer fighting Cyclops and Jean, but we don't know if that's the future, if it's the present. Is Danger part of Apocalypse? Is she part of something else? Will she encounter Charles? Is Joss Whedon going to make an appearance? Is Kitty going to come in? Is Emma going to be there? Is Warlock going to come and sweep Danger off its feet? There's loads of things they could do.
All right. Well, we will be here next week. Definitely breaking down all those episodes.
Yeah, we will be here. Morph will probably be here. Wolverine, Maverick will not.
No Maverick or Kane or
This
Maggot.
is the last time we will mention Maverick on the pod.
That's
Probably.
sad. RIP. Goodbye, Maverick. All right, Familia, you can hit me up at Power of X-Men on Instagram.
And I'm Planet X Men with a P on Instagram.
And you guys listen to the pod, check us out, and we'll see you next week.